see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face.
Oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey, guys, any...
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Coast to Coast. I am your host, Pags. We got Bo in the middle. We got Stat Guy on the road again. And Jay will be back tomorrow after he makes sure that everything is okay with his knee.
Maybe.
Happy Eclipse Day.
That's right.
You know, the world is going to end here at around 3:19, and I want to make sure to say goodbye to you guys in the proper way.
That's right. Well, at least we get to wrap the show up.
Exactly. So, where are you at, Stat Guy, in the world?
I'm actually driving an hour and a half to work right now. And then I have baseball practice later, so it's just a day of driving today.
So, an hour and a half to work, an hour and a half home from work, and baseball practice in the snow.
No, actually, no snow. Snow's gone now.
Okay.
Snow's all melted now.
So then now practice on the mud pile.
Pretty much.
Practice on the mud pile.
Nice.
We had our first game. We had our first game on Saturday, so we did well.
Did you guys win? Did you guys win?
I think we ended up winning 10-0. Yeah, we won 10-0. Our pitcher had a no-hitter with 1 out left and lost it.
Oh, no.
So, yes, Brad, we will be getting into WrestleMania a little bit. That's obviously, that was actually the big story of the weekend, beyond me coming in second in my eating contest. That was the number one story of the weekend, how I was able to get to the finals. And because of the way that the rules were, I went up against two women, twins, and they had to eat the same amount of stuff as I did. And I lost by a swallow.
That's what she said.
That's what they both said. So man. I was beaten by a set of twins. But if you're going to go down, you might as well go down on a pair of twins.
There you go.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, let me tell you.
Somehow this became the late night show. I didn't even know.
And it started off. So I wound up. I had a first round bye, which is hard to do in an eating contest. But I was the first round bye, so we had to eat pigs in a blanket to start off. The second round for me. Actually, it was pigs in a blanket. You had to eat 15 pigs in a blanket. Then you had to eat 10 pigs in a blanket. But because I got the bye, the pigs in a blanket, I had to chug a beer first before I could start eating the pigs in a blanket. And then third round, I had to eat a hamburger, full hamburger. And for the finals, I had to eat a hoagie. And my first round, I thought, like, by chugging the beer, by trying to chug a beer first and then eating, that I was going to be at a disadvantage. The problem is that because the first guy had to eat 15, and this guy was a big guy, he had to eat 15 pigs in a blanket, and then he waited for like 20 minutes to a half hour to have to eat again. That's a big deal. Big deal. So he was definitely at the disadvantage there. So I chugged my beer and ate all of the pigs in a blanket, and I beat him pretty handily. My third round for the burger, I went up against this guy, and he was about 165 pounds, soaking wet. And ultimately, he wound up. It was very, very close. I beat him by literally, I probably about a half of a second.
Oh,
And then
close.
in the finals, going after eating a 6-inch hoagie against two women, and these women were, they were twins. You know, they weren't, they weren't small. You know what I mean? These girls, but they came to come get first place, and they did it. They won first place.
Nice.
So, uh, in the process of that, we were donated. I donated a beautiful painting of Philadelphia sports by Jordan Spector, who does a lot of different paintings of Philadelphia sports and national sports as well. But he does a lot of different paintings. And let's see if I can show you. There it is, right behind me, right there. That's the painting.
Right on.
You can't really see it. Maybe I'll bring it over in a little while.
Sweet.
So yeah, we so that was my weekend, followed by watching a lot of wrestling. We watched some wrestling, got to watch some Phillies. Also, I mean, I guess we would be remiss if we did not talk about the women's NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really, before we get into WrestleMania, we should probably talk about that because obviously that was the Final Four and the championship.
Yep.
And starting with the Final Four, I mean, there was never a doubt South Carolina was going to win that game.
Yeah.
I thought
After that third quarter, in the Final Four, man, they really just blew it open because they scored it was 29 in the third, and they had 31 going into half. So I mean, they just really turned it on, and then it was never really a game from there.
Right. But the other game,
yep,
the LSU versus Iowa, was an amazing game to watch as well. You know what I mean? And well, actually, it was against UConn.
It was UConn.
I'm sorry, it was UConn. Yeah, the LSU game was before that. That was actually a fun game to watch as well. But UConn, and it went back and forth. I mean, I think it was a great game. I think UConn had a fantastic strategy to neutralize Caitlin Clark, and it required the rest of the team to kind of step up, which they did. I mean, I think it was the first time in a long time that Caitlin did not have half of the points for the team.
Yeah, she ended up with like 18 points in that game. So I mean, she was really
she did get to 20 because she ended her career with 50 consecutive 20 or more.
Oh,
points.
That's right. That's right. She ended up with like 21 or something.
She had 21 points, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And then obviously the big conversation was on the moving pick.
I mean, it was clearly a foul. Like,
yes.
I get where people were mad. They're like, yeah, don't call it in that situation. And of course, ultimately moving screen didn't matter because it's not even like it opened the person up. Right. So, I mean, it was something that didn't even really affect anything. But at the end of the day, when you looked at it, it was clearly a foul.
Yeah.
I mean, she was moving to the left, elbow out, knee out. That's a whistle every time.
Every time.
Even in a badly officiated game, that's a foul every time.
Yeah, and they had to give it. They had to do it. But that even being said, there was still 8 seconds left. At that moment.
You lose possession.
No, that was the loss of possession. I understand. But then, so they get it, they foul. You know what I mean? And they do that. And then Iowa wound up retaining possession after missing the second foul shot.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that was a monster.
You can't get boxed out there. So, I mean, that's the I mean, there was so much they did wrong over the last 15 seconds of that game that, I mean, they didn't deserve to win. Besides, they had a double-digit lead at some point. So had they played better along, down the stretch, we wouldn't be talking about this play at all.
Right. Yeah, it was something about like what did they not score a basket in the last like 4 minutes of the game or 6 minutes of the game? Maybe it seemed
Yeah,
like it went.
it was something like that.
Yeah, and ultimately it was good defense that kind of did it. And interestingly enough, it was almost kind of the exact same way that they let's call it what it was. It was the pucker. It was the pucker. You started to squeeze, and when you start to squeeze, you start to lose, and you could kind of see. Then going to the finals, it starts off 10-0.
Yep.
10-0. It starts off. She scores. Caitlin Clark scores 15 points in the first 21 points. And they have a monster lead, but it, South Carolina just took their time. They started to come back, and ultimately, when it came down to the last 6 minutes of the game, there you could tell that Iowa started to get really nervous.
Yeah, I mean, none of the
For
shots were
Caitlin
dropping.
Clark started to get nervous too.
None of the shots were
in
dropping.
fact,
They were forcing.
Yeah, Caitlin was like just throwing it up from half court, and it was just they were just bouncing. They were just bouncing off, and you could tell like even when she would drive in, she was forcing the shots, and the shots were just hitting off of the back of the rim and bouncing out. And also losing focus a couple of times. She's sitting there and she's looking the court, but not paying attention to the defender in front of her. There was 3 times she got stripped, and that's
they were, especially timing wise, very costly turnovers.
Yeah, and ultimately they got it as close as 5, and then after that, I really felt like Caitlin was. Everybody relied on her, which they did all year long. I understand that, but when it came down to it, she needed to dish it off more.
Yes,
she needed to be able to push it to somebody else because ultimately her shots weren't going, and they were all pushing towards her. So if she dished it off, there was open shots to be taken by other players.
Yeah, no doubt.
And,
I mean, her shot wasn't taken, but yeah, I mean, she was forcing shots that were contested. Like, they were also playing very smart defense against her. So, I mean, they were set up in a way. Now, they obviously didn't shut her down the way UConn did, but they were playing in a way that it was going to require someone else to step up to win. And, that's what you got to do when you have, an all-star player. If you can shut them down, yeah, you dare the other players on the team to make the points.
So, and ultimately, that's and that wound up being their demise. And I think the game ended. What was it? A 11-point victory for South Carolina, and it really was much closer than that. But the final score is what it is. Caitlin Clark leaves her college basketball group. And here's the other thing. We were talking about this yesterday in the bar in my living room. How she is turning down. She could come back for her 5th year of eligibility.
Okay.
And also the NIL would be giving her like $4.5 million to come back for her 5th year, where she would be then, she would crush it, I'm sure. She'd probably kill it and she'd make more money. Instead, she's going to go to the WNBA, whereas the first pick in the draft, she's only going to make $75,000. Now, of course, that has nothing to do with it.
She also turned down the $5 million to go play in that 3-on-3 league.
3-on-3.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like there wasn't money available. So this seems more like she wants to try and make her stamp in the WNBA, which I completely appreciate. The real question that I have for you, I guess, on this is, she sets the all-time points record, the single season points record, She holds the record for assists, 3-pointers, records all across the board, right? But doesn't end up winning a ring while she's there at any point, right? Does that negatively affect her as the GOAT, so to speak, of college basketball? When you look at some of the other players that have come through that are in the, top 5, top 10, that did end up winning at least one ring, maybe multiple rings, championships, whatever you want to, does that stifle her as the quote unquote GOAT?
I don't think it does
To
at
me,
all.
no. However, she has the one thing that I will absolutely say here, and I'm so glad that Dawn Staley said something after the game and gave her flowers, kind of, and
Yeah.
said Caitlin Clark elevated the women's game single-handedly,
Mhm.
and ultimately that burden was so much more than any other woman who played against her in her entire college career could fathom and understand.
Sure.
So that, and I believe, excuse me, I believe it's that thought process which is making her go to the WNBA, because she feels like that now that legacy has got to continue
Yeah.
further into that into that regard. That being said, the amount of hate that this woman is getting
Crazy.
from other players, I
Yes.
tell you, I mean, I don't like to talk bad about anybody and do whatever, but they are a little bit of whiny bitches. I tell you, the one girl who's like, no, she didn't beat my record because I played with a men's basketball. I'm gonna take off your screen. There you go. We don't want to sit in your lap and see up your nose. Um, the amount of like the one girl who's like, no, she didn't beat my record because there wasn't
Yeah.
3-pointers and they didn't use a men's basketball. Shut up. Shut up. You are no longer relevant. You were never relevant. You
Yeah.
were never relevant. Like you had the biggest score, and you know what? That didn't put a blip on anybody's radar except yours.
Yeah.
This, and then the other one saying, "Oh, it's because she's white." Are you kidding me? I mean, are we beyond that now? Aren't we beyond that?
Right.
It's like it's such a crock of shit is really what it is. Excuse my French, but I mean the fact that this one that's what I'm saying. Nobody understands. That's why I'm so glad that Dawn Staley, who
Mhm.
was probably the last most relevant woman in basketball since Caitlin Clark. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
She was probably the last. So she actually understood the real of what Caitlin had to go through. And this
Mhm.
girl's done it with nothing but class.
Yeah.
She has given the accolades to everybody else. Even that whole thing with LSU, she took the high road last year.
Yeah.
She's like,
Well,
yeah, they're smack talking. We're going to
you
get
know,
smack talked.
and the thing that's funny is she did too, right? Like you watched her trash talk other teams. It's part of sports. Like I don't get why there was such hate for Angel Reese, right? Because when you looked at like last season, right? Caitlin Clark was waving by and whatever, right? And that's where Angel Reese did the ring thing, right? And then people were losing their minds over it. You watch guys do this crap all the time, right?
All the
Like
time.
I don't know why anybody cares that they're jaw jacking at each other. That's
Well, and I
sports.
liked it. I liked it.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Caitlin
exactly,
understood it. And she said, like, why I don't understand why anybody's hating on Angel Reese.
exactly,
Now,
exactly.
like, listen,
And
the
then
problem is that Angel Reese wasn't anywhere near a great player, even in that game. So for her to be the one that does it, that could be a little weird. Then all being said, this is basketball. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, I
This
don't know.
is
That's one of those. Even if you're not like necessarily viewed as the best player ever, if you got somebody in your ear, running their mouth, and they lose, even if you're not like an all-star player, you might give it back to them. I have no problem with that. Now I think Angel Reese is better than that, but I mean, talent wise, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really get why there was so much hate, because at the end of the day, these are athletes. They're trying to get in each other's head. I got no problem with it.
right. And I thought that all of that was okay. I did not care that there was the smack talking between opponents. The
Yeah,
fact that they were women, listen, we are beyond the fact that they got to sit there with their pinkies up in the air drinking tea. You know what I
exactly.
mean? That's what this was all about in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let them
Oh,
go
that
ball
women
out,
have to hold themselves to a higher standard. Get the frig out of here. You know what I
right?
mean?
It's
It's
sports.
that's complete bull. Complete
Yeah,
bull. You know what I mean?
nope,
So
I'm with
I
you.
I liked the way all this went down. But then I'm listening, they showed it a couple of times on the broadcast where the one girl from UConn, she goes, so who would you take with the number one pick in the draft? I'd take this girl. I would not take. I would get the frig out of here.
You're right.
Again, you're so full of shit. You're so
Yeah,
full of shit. How I'm being a hater because she's a better player than you ever were. Shut up. So
yeah,
tired of that. Like, and that's really what it was. It was hate coming, women on women hate. And all
yeah.
this girl
No,
did was
absolutely.
just do what she was supposed to do.
Yeah, she came out and balled out, and did she hurt her team a little bit at the end in the championship game trying to play some hero ball? Sure. Were they feeding her the ball to enable that? Absolutely. So you can't really
Yeah,
hold
because
her.
they were all afraid too. Listen,
Yeah,
she is playing with 3 and 4 star recruits because
exactly.
all the 5 star recruits are in South Carolina or UConn.
Exactly.
Or LSU even. You know what
Yep.
I mean? She was the only one. We asked this question last week where I said, "Is it the coach that made Caitlin, or is it the Caitlin that made the coach?" We all agreed that it was Caitlin that made the coach. You know, obviously, you need to be coached. You need to be able to be,
Of course.
have the right system in place for you to be able to excel the way that she did. But
And
obviously, she did
the
it.
thing that's funny is, had it been, say they actually dished it out, Caitlin doesn't throw up those shots at the end, right? They still lose. The coach gets barbecued there, even though it's the smarter play, because Caitlin wasn't hitting and she wasn't open. Like, it would have been
Right.
smart to dish it out. But if she doesn't jack those shots up and they lose, the coach gets buried, right? And now, because she misses those shots at the end, they're like, oh, she's not clutch in big moments. Like, get out of here. Like, she had some of the toughest defense over the last 2 games, right? Which is 2 games over 3 days. So it's not like there was a ton of rest in between. And she had people picking her up at 3/4 court. Like, you're
The
battling
beginning of this game, they
court.
were like elbowing her in the face.
Yeah, I mean,
She
hand in
was
the
getting
face
like
the whole time. Like, yeah,
exactly like listen,
it is ridiculous. Some of the storylines that I'm hearing of she's not clutch and she can't finish. Like, how many players have you seen play well where the entire game you're full court defense on your one player? Of course, she didn't have all the opportunities she could have had. She's battling to get to half court, let
right,
alone make any drives or anything like that. You're battling to get to the logo. Like, people need to pump the brakes on some of the hate. Like, she played incredibly well for how smart the defenses were the last 2 games, because those were incredibly well coached teams and they knew exactly how to put Caitlin off of her game. Kudos to those
right.
teams. It
And
worked for South Carolina. It didn't work for UConn. But
well,
UConn
it actually did work for
undoubtedly had
UConn a
the
lot.
well, no. I mean, it didn't work for them in the way they still didn't win the game, but they played the best defensive game against her that was probably played all season.
Right, right. And ultimately, like I said, the fact that this woman is getting hate the way that she is
Insane.
beyond me. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But
Yeah, no, it's insane.
but
None of it makes sense. That being said,
and that
kudos
just
to South Carolina.
well, yeah, absolutely, and that's why I appreciate the fact that Dawn Staley did because, like I said, she understood. Like you said, the last woman who was as dominant in that sport was Dawn Staley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she was, like I didn't quite understand why she was so emotional after the win. Um,
I
it,
think some of it
it,
is because they went into this game or they went into this season. She didn't think they were going to be a good team at all because when they were talking to her, interviewing, they brought up some of her comments before the season because it was mostly a reboot of this team. Like it was a lot of new players. And so she didn't think they were a very disciplined team. She didn't think they were very good. Now, ultimately they go undefeated, and get the championship. But when you're going into a season thinking you're not going to be good and you battle through some incredibly tough teams, go undefeated and win, I mean, I could see being emotional at that point a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and they had a couple of very, very close calls. I mean, think about
sure.
that Tennessee game where if it wasn't for that 3 ball at the very, very, like at the buzzer to win the game, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like those are they could have lost one game and then it would have been they would have been they could have still won the championship, but still would have been regulated to every other team. It took me a minute to realize it because again, you never know what's going through somebody's head. And the
sure.
fact that she was so emotional that she couldn't talk during the interview
Yeah.
was like I'm like I don't quite understand why, but then you saw that there's only been like 4 coaches to
Well,
ever
10,
go undefeated in a season.
yeah. Well,
Like
and 10 teams ever.
right, that's
Right.
exactly it. But it was like Pat Summit and Gino and now her. You know what I mean? There may have been 1 or 2 other ones that made it, but it
Yep.
was like always Pat Summit and Gino. Those are the ones that
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is, I mean, that's rare company because now she has 3 championships and one of them a perfect season. That's
right,
rare.
right. Especially guy, I guess, bringing a team that you didn't even think was going to, make muster. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So. I mean, so it really was an amazing game, and I understood. Like I said, more people probably watched that game than will watch the game tonight.
There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind because I mean, when you were looking at now, I'm going to go with TV viewers because obviously this one's being played in a football stadium versus an arena, but
Right.
you know, once you got to the Elite Eight, women's basketball was outpacing men's basketball, which is
Yes.
viewership wise, and
Which is
so that's impressive.
unheard of.
Impressive.
Unheard of.
Exactly. I do attribute a lot of that to the men's basketball, situation at this point of all the one and dones because now you're not following guys through their career anymore. It's a different group of people every time. Whereas with women's, you ended up with some real star power in the Elite Eight, right? Like every team had a big shooter on their team, and
Right.
so as you're watching this, you also watch these teams build over the last few years. So you actually have something to like get behind and follow, and you know who the players are, and you're like, okay, yeah, like you want to watch that. Whereas with the men's, like I know who's in there. I couldn't tell you the players that are on those teams.
There's one player that I could tell you, and
Sure.
I could tell you that he looks like he's 7'2", and I assume that he's of some type of Asian descent.
Okay.
And I might be wrong. He might be Latino's descent. I couldn't tell. I wouldn't be able to know. I just
Sure.
know that he's like the only guy that, and he plays for Purdue. That's it. That's all
Well,
I know.
he's also played for a while. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is his 3rd season, I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's the
So
thing is Okay, so they have a guy that you've watched evolve in the game, right? Whereas with the women's game, you've watched them over the last 3-4 years. And so it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like you get to watch this progression, you get to follow them. So, I mean, it makes sense that they're drawing more eyes. And the only thing I can say to that is it does say good things about the WNBA because they're all moving on at the same time. So that might actually draw some eyes into the WNBA, which, they absolutely need. And, hopefully that'll get the media machine to finally hype up a sport that even in a state where we have 4 championships, we don't hear about the WNBA until halfway through the season. So hopefully this will help evolve the game in a way that the media machine wants to actually promote the thing.
I hope that it does that. I don't think that it will. I think that
Agreed.
so. And here's the reason why. I'm going to go back to the replacements here and use the statement, use
Sure.
the line at the end of the movie. Greatness, no matter how brief, stays with a man, is how they say it here. But
Yeah.
greatness only happens every once in a great while.
True.
And that's part of this, that we were able to witness somebody creating, somebody doing something amazingly great. And
Absolutely.
because it's so rare that you have to watch, you have to see. I could care less about women's basketball. You know what I mean? I have too many other things to do.
Sure.
Worrying about how Seattle has a worse record than the Phillies. Now, of course he's not on yet.
Yep.
But and all those other things. But I tuned in and I watched that game against Connecticut. I watched the game against South Carolina. I would have liked to see her win. Did I have any skin in the game? No. Do I care whether she won or lost? No. That's why it doesn't affect me. But when I'm watching the actual people reporting on this,
mm-hmm.
and the women that have come out and hate, including the guys. That one guy who said, again, I don't even know who he is, but he's like, yeah, like she doesn't win this championship. Everything that she did just goes for naught. Are you kidding me?
That is
Shut
not a
up.
real thing.
Why are you even on this? Why are you even on that panel? Shut up.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous to me that some guy's going to throw shade on the fact that this woman was able to do all of this. And listen, if anybody else was able to do it, if it was easy, everybody be doing it.
Exactly. Well, and based on that logic, that means Dan Marino's a chump because he didn't win a ring, right? Like he had the single season passing record forever, right? Won tons of games, whatever, but because he didn't win, everything he did doesn't make him one of the best to ever play. Get out of here with that. Like that's the dumbest take ever. Like that is one of the laziest takes for somebody that, obviously just has some bias because it's a girl. Like it's the dumbest shit ever.
Right. Exactly. And it infuriated me. It infuriated me. I felt bad for women's sports.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, when a guy says it, you could take that with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Sure.
You're just an asshole. That's what you're doing. You're being an asshole.
100%.
Ultimately, he thinks he's trying to do right by all the other women that play women's basketball. So there may be a little saving grace from what it is that he's talking about.
I don't think so. That when people say things like that, it feels more like the douchebags that are, oh, she doesn't know anything about football because she didn't play. Like there are incredibly smart women analysts, incredibly smart.
Right.
That probably know more about football than I do. And I played at a high level. Right. So that is one of the laziest, dumbest takes ever. And you hear it all the time. And that's more how this hits me is it's like, man, you're just putting out one of the dumbest takes. Now where it sucks is when it's other women tearing her down. That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's the other part. That every time that another woman does that, it takes away from what she's accomplished
Exactly.
for the entire sport. Oh, well, the women don't. If the women don't even respect her, why should I give a shit about any of women's sports? Why do I care?
Yep.
Because obviously they don't care. And all it is jealousy. It's jealousy.
It's a weird
cattiness and jealousy.
Exactly. It's a weird cattiness that doesn't make sense, especially for somebody that literally set the all-time record. And not just the all-time record in women's. It's all-time NCAA scoring record, right? Like, she beat the women's a month ago.
Right.
Women's and men's. Now, I don't know how you hate on that. Did she play an extra year?
Oh, it's a smaller ball. Oh, there's 3 points. Hey, listen, the game always is going to evolve. It's always going to be. It's not her fault that you're old.
Exactly.
It's not her fault that you were born earlier than she was.
Yep. She dominated the game she was presented. What
did she play? I mean, she averaged what, like 40 minutes a game that she was never taken out ever. Yeah. She got, I think the last game they took her out with 20 seconds left. That may have been the only. I mean, I got to imagine she was taken out in other games too. But
I mean, she was off the floor occasionally here and there, of course. I mean, that's just basketball. But I mean, still, at the end of the day, like, she played the best of anybody in the era that she played in.
Right.
Isn't that all you can do?
And didn't talk smack about any of the other women. Didn't say, hey, look at me, I'm great, patting myself on the back over here, and all this other stuff. She didn't do any of that. Always talked good about everybody else.
Yeah, like she would talk on the court, which you should do. You absolutely should try and get in other players' heads when you're playing. Like that's part of sports.
Exactly.
Again, I don't get the hate. I mean, she sets all these records. She declares for the WNBA. How much more did you want her to do? Did they come up short? Sure. Was South Carolina a way better team, top to bottom? Absolutely.
So, and then the first pick of the draft isn't going to take her? The first pick of the draft isn't going to take her? That's
you're
ridiculous.
Out of your mind if you don't think. You're out of your mind if you don't think you picked one overall.
Exactly. Not only that, like, there's a piece of me that feels that, and I've asked this question to a couple of other people, some basketball people, asking whether it's worth it to take a flyer on her for the second round of the NBA draft. And I'm getting a lot more no's. Like, no, it's not. Listen, it's great what she did, blah, blah, blah. However, it really could be just one foul from a guy who is 240 pounds against her that could really hurt her. She would get crushed out there because of that. And she'd probably bring it. She'd probably bring it on herself a little bit.
Well, exactly. And that was my argument about her. Because it's like, people are like, oh, she could absolutely score points. You're not wrong. She could absolutely be a point and shoot or a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. She would be effective in the NBA doing that. Where she would become a liability is on the defensive side. And when she gets bodied up by someone that's 300 pounds, that's going to be a real problem, because it's not like the bigs stay in the paint like they did back in the day. Your bigs are shooting threes, which means they'll follow her to the perimeter. So, I mean, unfortunately, she could legitimately get hurt in that game, especially because she'd be a woman in that sport. There's no way that there's not going to be some guys that take some cheap shots on her. There's no way.
Right.
There'll be some flagrant foul of somebody that's got 100 pounds on her and potentially end her career. So, I mean, do I think that she could be a shooter in the league? Absolutely. Like she tosses up daggers. She could definitely do it. I don't think she'd benefit from actually going to the NBA. The WNBA is obviously the smarter route. And again, it has more to do with, I think there'd be cheap shots against her, and she wouldn't be able to play defense really. Not that the league plays a lot of defense, honestly, but
well, let's face it. If there's a hitch in her game, it's the defense. She was terrible at defense. She's not a very good defensive player.
And you really would be where you're giving up a lot of weight on people.
Right. So, but typically she'd be going up against other guards. And most of the other guards, short of like Ben Simmons, who's like 6'9". I mean, most of the other guards, imagine her and Steph Curry going up against one another. Now, I think Steph Curry would win those battles, but
No doubt.
it wouldn't be as ridiculous in the weight category.
No, but
and which makes me believe
it'll be when someone trades out, because again, it's only going to take one of those big hits. Right. Even if it's a flagrant foul and somebody gets tossed.
Well, somebody like that who would go out of their way to do a flagrant foul would get chastised to the nth degree.
Sure, but you could see a Draymond do that.
Well, I think that's what she said. I think that's what she said. She said that Draymond is the problem. Like that would be. Now, see, this is. I'm going to go ahead and kind of respond to this. Sorry, guys. That's what I meant. They should have a
co-ed all-star game.
Co-ed all-star game.
That'd be cool.
Co-ed all-star game. Yeah. I think that would be kind of fun.
Especially if you end up with like a Cardoza, right? Because she's 6'7".
Yeah.
I mean, she's a tank out there. so
I mean, and those are things that could actually occur. Now, I know that the women's, like, they don't operate the same times, right? Like the women is later. Like for them to do an all-star game together would be tough.
Yeah,
because of the way the seasons operate.
Yeah, because the WNBA, I believe, starts. I want to say it's like the 14th or something.
Well, I thought that the championship was like November.
Yeah, it is. It is later. But yeah, I mean, their season is just about to start. So when you think of where
just about to start, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. In November, November is the championship, and we just get started in the season. So it would be, again, that's where you don't want to have. You don't want to have like the championship team of the WNBA go play a preseason game against anybody in the NBA because that's not fair. It's just it wouldn't work that way. But so that would mean that you'd have to figure out a way to have the All-Star game either in the very beginning of the season where you're selecting 10 people from the NBA and 10 people from the WNBA or 20 and 20 and making two teams and it be good preseason stuff. Postseason and preseason stuff. I think that would be the way to kind of play that game.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the two leagues overlap a little bit.
Right.
So like that'd be a fun thing to try and work through. Because I mean,
and then, can you imagine somebody getting hurt in that game?
Exactly.
Oh my God, it would never stop. Then it would be like, oh my God, we lost somebody for the season because he was playing with girls.
Yeah, well, and of course, if it was a preseason game for, the WNBA, that means you're close to postseason play. So say it was somebody that was going to be in the postseason and they get hurt, then yeah, people would be losing their minds. It would be a tough thing to navigate, but it would be fun to watch.
That's why, maybe here you go. They should allow anybody who is on the first team WNBA for the previous year to play, because that means 6 players, right? There's 6 players in the first team.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's the top 5 and then the 6th man. So
Yep.
if you were to do that, allowing them to integrate into the All-Star game.
Oh, into the NBAs. Yeah, no, that would work. Yeah.
Because they're not nobody's playing defense in the WNBA or the NBA All-Star game. They're scoring
No,
400 points in a game.
exactly.
So maybe that's the way to do that. Again, the moment Silver wants to call me up and ask my opinion, I'll right up answer the phone.
Yeah, I don't think he wants my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And for all the people that are asking about WrestleMania, we are going to talk about it. I'm going to wait till the other uh, after the break. And anybody, if you guys went to WrestleMania, please let me know if you went to WrestleMania. I will send you the link. I want you guys to come on and talk about it.
For sure.
I did not go to any of WrestleMania. I am going tonight for Raw, so I
Okay.
will be a part of tonight's. Like I'll be there tonight. I'm not going to be a part of anything. But I
Yep.
did not go to any of the WrestleMania stuff. I had other things that I had to get done. And as much as I said I wanted to go, I was going to spend the money and do all that stuff. I chose against it. So,
Well, and for
but
me,
it really did.
there's nothing I can add to it because I don't watch wrestling. So so yeah, if you're watching, get the link because I am going to have very little to add to this segment.
Yeah, like my wrestling proud. I did wrestling back in the night when there was Atlanta wrestling and the ECW and things like that. Like there's all that type of stuff. I will be getting painted up tonight to go to Raw, but I'm going to be painting Eagles colors because at WrestleMania 40 the colors were green and silver, so why not do Eagles colors for that? You know.
Yeah.
So that's how I am going to go tonight. But and I will say that there is a new WWF Universal World Champion. Because now they have the heavyweight world champion, the intercontinental champion, the asshole of the month champion. They
Yeah,
got
exactly. You
everything
get a
over
belt.
there
You get a
anymore.
belt. Everyone gets a belt.
Exactly. It's so far removed to what it used to be. It used to be like two belts, the Intercontinental and the World Championship. Now it's like the Universal and the like. It's so hard for me to keep up with anymore. But there is a new Universal Champion, Cody Rhodes, who was able to finally beat Roman Reigns out of that belt. And from what I understand, The Rock got beat up a little bit. Like everybody got beat up. And The Rock, that the Undertaker came in and choke slammed The Rock and blah, 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 blah. All that fun stuff. I wish I could go ahead and get all the different videos together for it. And there was an appearance made by Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey. In one of the matches, they were wearing the luchador masks, which kind of was fitting because that's what Jason Kelsey did the entire party with the Chiefs, wore the luchador mask and, so on and so forth. And it was so funny when you see all that on Instagram. I mean, obviously, Lane Johnson was told, "Do not do anything. Don't do anything. Don't touch anybody." All he did was take the chair out of Rey Mysterio Jr.'s hand, whatever that is, and then Jason Kelsey did all of the work because Lane Johnson is still a football player, and if for some weirdo reason he was to get hurt, that would have been no bueno, no bueno. Yeah, and I knew that there was something going on. I didn't realize that it was leukemia. That it was. I actually thought that he was going to be in, like in some movies.
Mm.
So, which is usually what happens. They lose because they got to be in movies. But yeah, Dominic Mysterio. Yeah, there you go. I know Ray. I know Ray Mysterio. Dominic is a little too new age for me. You know, but the one thing that was really kind of cool in the process of this was, WrestleMania 3 was in Philadelphia. WrestleMania 15 was in Philadelphia. And then, of course, WrestleMania 40, which was the biggest WrestleMania of all time. There was so many. Like I think the SmackDown broke all types of records. The WrestleMania broke all types of records for WrestleMania. Philadelphia really did show up, but it wasn't just people from Philadelphia. There were people from all over the world that came to Philly to watch wrestling matches. Which is really kind of awesome because when I think about this in general, this is Days of Our Lives for men.
Pretty much.
That's what this is. This is a soap opera for men, and not that just only men watch it. Of course, there's women that watch it as well. But it is amazing. It is amazing to see that type of turnout for anything at all. Like we always laugh about how can 50 million rednecks be wrong about NASCAR? How can like 100 million people be wrong about the WWE? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's why I've never been a fan. I've never watched it because it's like, okay, it's all fake. Now, not to say that they're not athletes. Of course they are. Right? For them to be able to do the things they're doing, you have to be a phenomenal athlete. So I'm not disparaging them in any way. But I'm sorry, I've been in fights. And if I get hit in the face 50 times, you know what happens? I bleed a lot. If somebody dumps me on my head, probably, going to the ER. Like it's, like I've never been hit with a chair, but I did catch a baseball bat to the chin. You know what that does? Knocks you out. So, I mean, it, yeah, I don't know. I always had an issue with the fact that it is so obviously fake in that way. But again, at the end of the day, phenomenal athletes to be able to do what they do.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Not something I follow.
let's face this. Let's face it. It's if Cirque du Soleil was more aggressive, it would
Sure.
be the exact same thing. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
That's what these guys are doing. These guys are doing flips from sometimes 20 feet up in the air. You know what I mean? And that's why certain people have passed. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
just like, hey, there is lots of danger that it gets involved with this.
Real. The injuries are real. Like just so many of those guys end up leaving the sport because of back injuries and stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're constantly getting tossed. So, I mean,
right.
That's why I say in no way am I saying they're not athletes because they absolutely are.
No, they are absolutely athletes.
Yeah. It's just not storylines that I follow.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, it's, I if there wasn't so many games on Monday nights, and where I don't get to, I get to watch Raw instead of anything else, I would definitely go. But ultimately, it is what it is. But listen, at the end, once we come back from break, if anybody who's watching right now did go to WrestleMania or watched it on closed circuit, pay-per-view, whatever they had it, please let me know in the comments and I will get you a link. So, yeah, they are putting their lives on the line a little bit. I mean, it is a very big deal. You know what I mean? It's not, and listen, so I have friends of mine that, actually a guy who used to work for me in the masonry, he was the Sandman. He was known as the Sandman. He was the original guy who came in with the beer. That Steve Austin stole that from the Sandman.
Yeah.
Now, same thing with like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He used to go around with the 2x4. Yeah, the Sandman would have his cane, and he'd whip you with the cane. And that's kind of cool. And I know him. Like I know him pretty well. I've seen him perform. Guy's a big dude. The guy's a really big dude, and he was able to move stuff. Like I had him doing masonry work, so he was able to mix concrete and move it places. So those are things that we needed to have done as a mason. But it's like it was amazing watching him do some of the stuff that he did and how he was able to get the crowd going. Alden, how old are you? I gotta know your age.
Yeah.
But because I can't. If you're under 18, I can't have you come on. Unfortunately, there's now new rules on.
Exactly.
So
yeah, if you're under 18, you have to have a parent, right?
Legal guard. You know what? I knew he was there. I knew he was there on Saturday, and I couldn't make it out there because my buddy Bump is also with him. Yeah, I appreciate you being honest, Aiden. I'd love to have you come on. We have very specific rules. I can't get canceled. So
exactly.
I appreciate that. But feel free to stick around and add to the comments because, like I said, you may be the only one that's watching that actually went. So I'd love to hear some of your opinion on stuff. If my cousin wasn't working, I'd have him do it because he is like the man about this type of stuff. In fact, I'm going to see, but in fact, let's do it this way. I'm going to go to break a little early and I'm going to reach out to him and maybe, just maybe he'd be able to come on because he went both nights. He put on a review from night 1 to night 2. So I want to be able to see if I can get him on to talk about
I'll reach out to someone I know was watching the whole thing as well.
All right, but we'll be back right after these commercial messages. And stay tuned. I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face.
Oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey, get it each.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sometimes, all you need to change your life is a sign. A sign that says, "Hank, this is the place you've been looking for." And sometimes that sign is an actual sign that's mounted to a building. 1 second, I'm looking at a sign. I know what you're thinking, and no, I don't love B-dubs just because I'm a buffalo with wings. Frankly, that's offensive and reductionist. Cause this place, come on. It's like they took beer and made it into a place and then gave that place sports and chicken wings. And the people, Cuba, the best.
Oh! What the is going on, Marty? This isn't a game. This is trivia.
Yeah, this place is kind of like heaven. You know, without needing to get hit by a bus. Let's go, sports bar.
Supporting the needs of our veterans. That's the goal of all of us at Team AmVets. Like Mitch, Carlos, and Kevin from our Welcome Home team that brings furniture to our vets.
We are Team AmVets.
Or Linda from our thrift stores who brings you great bargains every day.
I am Team AmVets.
And John, who picks up your thrift store donations that support California veterans programs.
I am Team AmVets.
Visit our website or Team AmVets thrift store to donate or shop today.
Join the team!
Mr. Green? Mr. Green?
Yeah.
You need any help?
Mm-mm.
I just want you to know, I think you're the best ever.
Yeah, sure.
Want my Coke? It's okay, you can have it.
No.
Really, you can have it.
Okay.
A Coke and a smile makes me feel good. Makes me feel nice.
Be around.
That's the way it should be. I like to see
Hey, kid.
the whole world smiling with me. Coca-Cola as life. Have a Coke and
Thanks, Mean Joe.
smile.
There you go.
There's a classic.
And I believe, yeah, I love doing that. Yeah, I believe I'm going to have somebody jump on with us here in just a moment. He was at both Saturday and Sunday night. He is a monster wrestling fan. So on Thursday I went to the Wings game. Was it Thursday? Last Saturday, actually, last Saturday, they had the WWE day, and I did something with Ricochet, which is he's one of those guys that's um, he's like a fringe guy. He does stuff, but he's also able to do flips and acrobatics and stuff like that. Very talented guy.
Sure.
And when I did that, he's like, "Man, that video was awesome." Hold on one second. He's calling me as we speak. Hey, Vinny.
As we speak, what?
Yeah, I'm talking. You're actually live on my podcast. I gave you the link for you to come on and talk. Since you were there on Saturday and Sunday, you were probably the best guy to talk to.
Oh, it was quite an experience, I will tell you that, to see the 72,516 participants, to see the showcase of the immortals walk amongst us.
There you go. So all you got to do is hit that link. I don't have to show your face or nothing. You could be doing whatever. I would just love for you to come on and talk to everybody about it.
I'll jump in.
Awesome. You're the man. Perfect. Vinny will be on. As you could tell, he is that guy. He is that guy. So, and like he says, he'll jump on and it'll be, he says he'll be able to kind of tell you everything that happened. He'll know every intricacy of every match. Obviously, I already broke it that Cody Rhodes won the WWE Championship, but he will be able to tell us a lot more about everything that's going on. Like you said, these are the titans that walk among us. Yeah, I'm sure that TikTok WWE has it on there. I just didn't have the time to go download them all. I had other things that I was doing first thing this morning, like eating breakfast. And I didn't get to watch much of that yet. I'll watch it all today. I mean, I did see Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson from 1,000 different angles. He's like, oh, look at this from this angle. Hey, look at it from this angle. Look at this from all the way up at the top row of the stadium. Let's look at it over here. Let's look at it over here. It's, it was, and it was fun to see that. I mean, obviously, you knew that was going to happen. That I knew that Jason Kelsey. There we go. I got my other. Yeah, I got my cousin coming on too, maybe.
Yep. And then my buddy Mr. U should be in the green room here in a minute as well. And big wrestling fan.
Awesome. Get everybody in here and to talk. Let's see. I don't know if he's going to be able to come on. He might be working, but if he could jump on, that'd be, like I said, get all these guys on. Have them talk amongst themselves. I could remove myself from that situation because that would be like kind of and like my cousin Bobby, he's a Ravens fan of all things. As his father was the one who brought me to my very first Eagles tailgate and everything, and he's a Ravens fan. Like his father got married in an Eagles tuxedo, and he's
funny.
a Ravens fan. But he's also a monster in wrestling fan. Like he did a whole, hey, I like this match, I didn't like this match, I'll do all this. So if you're gonna follow him on TikTok, what is his name on TikTok? I don't even know. I know he's like Bobby.
I got you. And Paul, it's funny. I assumed if he was at WrestleMania, he was going to be in a match of some sort, just based on how excited he was to try and jump through a table. I thought for sure if he did make it to the event, he was going to get in the ring in some capacity.
Here we go. We're going to add to the stage,
all right,
Mr. U.
What's happening, man?
What's going on, peoples?
How are you?
Oh, doing
it's like I just saw you.
That's because you just did. But it's all good, man. That means I'm working.
That's right.
And there you go. So, did you make it down for WrestleMania?
No, I'm a long time fan. I'm talking about from the womb. I used to listen to wrestling when I was a baby. Embryo. The sound of wrestling was in my ear, seriously. But I don't really do the events. I'm kind of at the house guy or maybe somewhere locally, but nah, I wasn't even trying to get to the events. Wasn't even the plan.
Got it.
I watched everything.
Did you watch it?
Yeah,
you watched it on pay-per-view?
I did. I watched it on Peacock. I watched NXT's Stand and Deliver, and I watched both WrestleMania nights, man. Fantastic, man. Really, really good, man.
So, and I'm going to be there tonight for Raw.
Oh my!
I'm going to be there tonight for Raw, and you never know what could happen with the Philly sports guy. I know that I always wind up putting myself in situations I'm not supposed to be in, and so I would not be surprised if somehow, some way, that I wind up getting body slammed by somebody. You know what I mean? I would not be surprised at that. But
is there historical precedent for this? Does this happen a lot?
So I have been to a number of wrestling matches back in the day in the Spectrum. And I do remember, like, the first wrestling match I ever went to, somebody threw an apple at Big John Studd. It missed Big John Studd, but hit me dead in the head. So I wound up, I was like front row, and it like comes across. I'm like, what is that? An apple? Bam!
That's my one. That's my one and only autograph. That's my one and only autograph.
Big John Studd?
Yep. Caught him trying to sneak out between the buildings to get to his limousine. My mom helped me get the courage to ask him for an autograph. Don't know where it is right now. Somebody probably sold it by now. I don't know where it is, but that's my only autograph. Big John Studd, man. It's an awesome memory, man.
There you go.
Not that you get in slam part, the other part.
Well, yeah. Well, I listen. I remember getting hit in the head, but I could tell you just about everybody that was on that card, though. Like it was Big John Studd, and that was when he was going up against two people at the same time. Like he would do that because if you could body slam him or something. Like he was playing the body slam game before Andre the Giant did. You know what I mean?
It was a squash match for the most part because you knew what was going to happen. It was a squash. Yeah.
Right. There we go. Wow. And now we got my man Vinny coming on. Once he gets his stuff in order here, it's just
Another
I want to make
wrestling
sure
fan, perhaps?
his mic is. Yeah, here he is.
Go.
There we
The
go.
Wolfpack. Woo, it's just too damn sweet.
Whoo!
So Vinny also he went to both nights. He was there on
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday.
Sitting
And-
literally 100 yards from the ring on each side, 121R on the first night, 138R last night's seats were even more phenomenal. And a big shout out to my boy Murph on my dart team and some extended family who made said event happen. She's the bomb. Love her. Represent, New Orleans and Florida for her.
Sweet, man.
So because you guys watched and I did not, let's start with Saturday night. Saturday night opens up, and I assume that first match was like the Rey Mysterio match.
No, it was
father
the man.
versus son type thing.
No, it was Bex.
First, no. Ripley and Big Time Bex.
Yes,
Oh,
Bex
you guys
and,
see.
and Rhea Ripley.
Okay, I didn't know. And
That
again,
was
this is
the
why
opening-
I'm
that
talking
was-
to you
that was-
guys.
That was the opening event, the showcase, the young ladies, and they came through. So many botch spots in that spot. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Boy, they could have screwed up a glass of ice water on that one, but still phenomenal.
Gotcha. And who was the winner? Was it for a belt, or are all these matches
Yes.
for belts?
Some.
Yeah, most of both nights were.
Some, yeah.
Yes, not all.
That first one was for a belt
I-
with Ripley's women's world championship. That's what they were fighting for. Best didn't have a shot. To be honest,
No, she
there
did.
was no chance she was winning that.
She had a snowball's chance in hell.
Yeah,
she looked
not even that good.
She oh damn, she looked good, but her skills in the ring. When she came out dressed as a swan, I thought it was a little funny in the beginning.
That's what you saw. I saw a Christmas clown.
Oh,
That's what
I thought it was like what's her name?
A Budweiser can or something like that. It was
I thought it was Bjorg. I was like, what the shit is this?
her and her husband got some weird taste, man. That's another topic altogether. I don't understand what they're doing fashion wise. It's not good. But
No. Jean-Paul Gaultier did not help them out on this one, or Versace.
no. Yeah. I think
So
this,
it was the girl with all the facial makeup is the one that won, right?
correct. Rhea Ripley.
She's the one that's got all the stuff under her eyes and everything. And
Yeah.
she always
Yeah,
looks like she's got that heroin chic look.
Yes,
wow.
Death Incarnate, which is so beautiful in a woman.
Perfect.
That's just my
Awesome.
That's just my fucked up sense of humor.
There we go.
I hope
So,
I'm
anyways,
allowed to say that.
so then let's get to the major matches. Obviously, I don't know. I only saw the videos of how many times. I don't even know how long the match was going before you had Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey jump in. You didn't know it was them, but you did know it was
We did.
them.
Really? We didn't?
I knew for
I'm
sure
sure
somebody
you
from
did.
Philly. That was I knew that. I just didn't know who it was.
Right.
Somebody
I
from
thought
Philly.
that was going to be incorporated into the main event Saturday night because of all the horrible, horrible things that came out of the great one, The Rock's mouth about our wonderful Philadelphia Eagles. How dare you talk nonsense about our wonderful football team here in Philadelphia? Who would do that? The Rock.
The Rock.
So I thought that was going to be the run-in, but it did not happen, and they showed up in that lower card spot. I expected a lot more from the greatest
Well,
center ever.
I mean, let's
but
face it. There was no
Come
chance
on.
Lane Johnson was going to be able to do anything. He
Come
was
on, Jim.
unable to even touch the wrestlers because he can't get hurt. Jason Kelsey was the one that did everything.
right. And
Yeah, so-
honestly, if Lane Johnson was going to the bathroom beside me, I don't think I'd know who he is. I'd be like, hey, Jamie, who's that?
You would know because he's a monster. He's like 6'7". He looks like a football player.
And he might as well be the new goalie on the Flyers.
Well, he's 6'8". But
Okay. Damn it.
I don't know that
darn
he can
inch.
skate as well. Yeah,
That would be-
I don't think he can
that'd
skate
be-
as well.
that'd be
That being
that'd be
said,
interesting to watch.
The old man beats the kid with help
Yeah,
from the Eagles.
I feel like nobody was interested in that part. I mean, Vinny, was that something for you?
Yeah,
I wasn't feeling that match, brother.
Honestly, it was.
That was a
it
bathroom
bad.
break for me. I'm sorry.
It was.
Snack break.
It was actually a merchandise break for me and the wife. So
See?
I missed that whole part of it. I came back and I had to look at it, and I was like, oh well, okay.
That match was only there so that you guys could have the Eagles come to and be a part of the event. There was no other reason for the match. No story progressed from out of that match.
No, nothing.
This Friday night on SmackDown, nothing's going to happen from that. It's just going to be another conglomeration of more filler matches to fill the 2-hour spot. It's not nothing's going. It didn't help anything. It didn't solve anything. Nothing got resolved from that at all.
No, nothing was gained, and yeah, it didn't pique our interest. It didn't, like I said,
All it was to incorporate Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson. That's
it was just
my personal
cool
belief.
Push. Yeah, it was a cool push for the city and team, yada yada yada, and that's that. But
now,
let's get to the fun and the good nitty gritty. That main event Saturday night was banging.
So set it up for us. Like, what was the main event?
Great one. The Rock has finally come back to our city. The pop that he got, Roman orchestra from the city, like dude, the Mummers entrance for Seth Rollins, unfriggin' believable. Like, I've seen a lot of cool stuff. I've been to Stanley Cup parades in Pittsburgh because we don't have them here in Philly anymore.
Ouch.
Oh, did I say that out loud? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we all heard you, like the whole world.
Hey, Vinny,
Yeah.
Can you fix your phone so that we're not looking up your nose?
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. Thank you.
This is the first time this is the first time in my life I've ever done anything like this. So, shy of phone
I
sex with
appreciate
my
it.
wife.
I appreciate you coming on.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm still dressed. From
So
last night,
anyways,
obviously.
he comes out with Mummers. He came out to a Mummers parade.
It was the greatest thing. It was so cool. You saw it, right?
I did see it.
You saw it, Mr.
The outfits are not working for me, man. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can say. Everything he wears repulses me. So I'm not,
Seth Rollins?
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. The best thing he wore last night was that Shield outfit.
That was cool. That was cool at the end.
Nothing. This other fashion stuff. It's RuPaulish to me. It's not working, brother. Sorry.
Oh, nice. I did like the fact that a few weeks ago when Punk cut the promo, he's just like, "Yeah, we got to sit here and listen to these two douchebags." That was great when like Punk went, back to the old days.
Yeah. Now, was that match the best tag team of all time? Tag match of all time? That's how it was being billed as the best tag team match of all time. I didn't get that. Did you?
No. Because if I want to go to the greatest tag match of all time, it's going to be the Road Warriors in 1985 with the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson.
Okay,
and
hold on. I didn't hear you mention the Steiner brothers whatsoever in your comment there. So the Steiner brothers not in your best tag match of all time?
Dogface Gremlin?
Steiner brothers? The Dudleys? You gonna leave all these guys out? Wow.
The Steiners were phenomenal. The Hart Foundation was phenomenal. I mean, there's a lot of great tag teams we can talk about. How about Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA?
You're talking about Hard Time, baby. Let me tell you about Hard Time.
Take a man and walk down a road, and let me tell you, brother, it's like this.
I miss Dusty.
So going back to the main event on Saturday, because it says it was 45 minutes. It was a 45-minute match.
We can go ahead and check, but probably, I mean, because when's Paul counting down when they came out or when the match actually started? The entrances are like 15 minutes apiece for them to come out. True. They walk real slow, and so I'm not sure. That match was over 30 minutes in length. The match itself, guaranteed. I had to try to find the time for it, but it was definitely more than 30 minutes easy.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to know exactly.
Yeah, 45 minutes is probably,
it's all fanfare. It's fanfare, but
So Saturday night again, they billed as like the greatest tag team, and no, it was not. It was, it is what it is. Last night though, the main event. Wow,
Different story.
shit popping off last night. That glass break and Stone Cold come through, which was a rumor. I wish to God it would have happened, but everything else that happened, holy Christ!
I got a question for you guys.
I,
Are you guys going to ignore probably one of the best matches from Saturday night?
Bailey.
Y'all gonna talk about that?
Bailey's match?
Bailey's. I said Saturday night.
Which one was that? What are we talking about?
Wasn't Gunther and Sammy on Saturday night?
Oh yes, the heir apparent.
On Saturday, right?
Yes,
that was the best match of the night to me.
I think you might be about 112% right.
I'll take it.
Yes.
Yeah, man, that match was incredible, man. I geeked out for that match, man.
The fact that he broke Tito Santana's record of being the first and only Intercontinental champ and the longest one running because nobody else wanted the belt.
It was almost 2 years, like 668 days, something like that.
Yeah, he had a hell of a run.
Man.
And he wears Fred Perry's, so I kind of gotta, now I'm gonna go fashion again like we did earlier. So yeah, shout out to Fred Perry.
We still here.
I like expensive cool shit.
Cool.
So, all right, there you go. But anyway, so that was that match, and it was for the Intercontinental belts, and so I feel like for the Intercontinental belt, those are the smaller guys. Like I feel like that's what they've kind of done. That's like the lightweight championship. I know they probably have a lightweight championship belt, but like that's like the WWE light belt. That that's where you have a lot more acrobatics going
Gunther
on.
ain't no lightweight, man. Gunther's a heavyweight.
Yeah, Gunther, he can throw. He's a big boy.
He's a straight up dog. He dominated that.
Okay.
He had five-star matches continually. Every time he got in the ring, that's what it was, man. That man's incredible. Man. I knew him as Walter before he came over to the from NXT UK. That man can put on a match, man. That IC title moved up in relevance just because he had it, man. That's how good he is on the ring, man. He's phenomenal.
I don't disagree in the least bit. That dude has put in the work and he's a machine. That guy, he's technical. He actually reminds me of the good old days of Stinko Dean Malenko.
Best technical wrestler in the world. I'll fight you if you say anything else other than that.
1,000 moves. That's how I'll put you away.
I'll fight you on that one. He's the best technical wrestler there is out there. Nobody can touch him.
No, to even be standing 5 feet away from that guy, he oozes awesomeness. Yeah, I got a bunch of creative, good, funny one-liners. I stink at this.
So the winner of the Saturday night was that tag team. It made something occur for Sunday, correct?
Yes.
Bloodline. Like that. So I don't know what the bloodline is or anything like that. You guys got to explain it a little bit.
What are you talking about?
I'll let you take this one.
I thought we coming to oh man. You don't know nothing about this?
So listen, I have stopped watching.
Jamie brought me on for help.
I stopped watching wrestling.
How bad is that?
You stopped watching? What happened, man? Who broke you?
Well, no, I stopped watching when it was like Hulk Hogan was when I remember Bob Backlund having the belt and then losing to the Iron Sheik.
Bob Backlund.
That was 1984.
And then losing to the Iron Sheik. And then Hulk Hogan winning it after being Thunder Lips. And then with it was Iran right and Nikita Koloff.
You haven't seen it since then? That was like
I watched a little bit. I know who these wrestlers are, but once Rowdy Piper passed away and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff was done, I'm
You missed a whole
Yeah, Robert,
lot. Like,
because we can't
You know
talk
how
about
much
how
this
your
happened?
your Seattle team stinks and have a worse record than the Phillies. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Wow.
some good
That
music
was
from
that was a
Seattle at
sharp
least.
left turn. I don't know what happened, man.
Oh no,
But no, no,
ongoing.
Chiming
It's
in.
ongoing.
Hey,
right.
dude,
So,
tell 'em
but
to fucking
I don't
put
know
on
what the
Smells Like Teen
bloodline
Spirit,
rules
dude. Get
are.
with
Like,
it.
what was the bloodline rules?
So basically, the bad guys won Saturday night in that tag match, which set up Sunday night's main event. Roman Reigns, the Universal Champ, 1,300 plus days. 3 men ever in the company, in the history of WWE, have held the belt longer. Mr. Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, and crazy ass Bob Backlund. So, good old Roman, strolls in and decides he wants to wrestle. It's cool. Saturday night, the bad guys won, which means Sunday night, bloodline rules are all fair. It doesn't matter. Somebody can run in, bust the shit up. The good guy's not going to basically win. That they were stacking the deck against him, let's just say. But guess what? The deck sometimes fights back. And then you cue the music. Receding hairline John Cena.
Wow.
He's got a bigger bald spot than I do.
That's high praise.
So John Cena came out, and is he part of the bloodline somewhere?
No, not
John
at
is
all.
considered. This is like He-Man. He's on He-Man's side, not Skeletor's. So we're going back to the old days.
I'm old enough to get that reference. God help me.
Thank you.
So did
thank you
Dusty
for
Rhodes come
appreciating
out?
that.
Dusty Rhodes passed
Did
away.
Dusty
man. Come on,
Rhodes come out?
man. He passed.
See,
He
I
passed
don't know
away,
this.
man.
I don't know this.
He's not here anymore, dude.
Dusty is with us. He walks amongst us, but he is not physically with us. As Dusty would say.
So,
wow, and I spit a little when I did that too. That was terrible. Jesus Christ, drink another beer, you idiot.
But so, anyways, so they lose the match. They lose the tag team match with The Rock and them.
Yes,
and that
so
creates
it
no
sets
holds barred.
Pretty much anything can go on, and sure enough, it did. And all of a sudden, after we think it's phenomenal that John Cena shows up, and The Rock basically shows up right after him, puts him in his place, slaps him around, rock bottoms him. The lights go dark. The link. It's midnight. Ding dong. Ring the bell. The
I didn't hear a
Undertaker.
bell.
The dead man. You heard the bell, didn't you?
I think you heard a different bell.
I
than
hear no
heard.
bell.
Okay, well, I stink
Bong.
then.
It's a gong, really.
Yes. You're right. Okay, not a bell. All right, it's not fucking DoorDash. I stink. Sure enough, come back on. There's the dead man. He's back. The Rock shits his pants in his Versace, white horrible pants. You saw his friggin', frog eye hanging out. It was like, come on, dude, really?
Wow.
Bang! He gets choked the fuck out, gets choke slammed, and then Cody proceeds to finish the story.
So what was the story?
Thank you.
And nobody in the Rose family ever won a world championship in this federation. So, in honor of his dad's death, I guess, and his dad getting screwed by Vince McMahon over and over and over again,
Hundreds and hundreds of
polka dots
times.
and kind of embarrassed him.
Yeah, actually embarrassed.
He wanted to win a championship in there, basically in his honor, to kind of, I guess, quote unquote, finish the story. So
Yeah,
it was
and
a lot of emotional stuff attached to it.
Yes, and it unfortunately took 3 years in a season of like 2 WrestleManias. He wins back-to-back King of the Rings or Royal Rumble that guarantees you the main shot. You pick who you're fighting at WrestleMania. Loses last year. I was in California last year watching last year's WrestleMania. The lady that we stayed at her place, and she has no idea what wrestling is. And she's like, this is the coolest shit ever. She's like, it's an adult soap opera. I was like, yeah, no shit. It's like General
That is
Hospital.
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
it's like this.
It is.
People that say, "Oh, this is fake, it's stupid," on my Twitter, they don't want to mess with me. You know why? Here's my question for you. Do you go to the movies? If you go to the movies and you spend $25 on a
Do I go to the movies?
on a thing of popcorn, no, I'm just saying theoretically speaking, right? You go spend $25 on popcorn, $10 on candy, and $50 on a drink to go watch a movie. You don't know how it's going to end, right? You come out, enjoy it, you enjoyed it, you were entertained. That's what this is. It's supposed to be anything else. I enjoy the wrestling because I'm from that era where I love the grappling and the hand-to-hand combat, the move and counter move. I'm into all that. I geek out about that kind of stuff. I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? But that's all it's really supposed to be about. Call it soap opera, call it sports entertainment. That's all it's really supposed to be about. This weekend, if you've never seen it before, I challenge you to watch the whole thing and tell me you didn't like it. I'll call you a liar right here in front of everybody. Because you are a liar. There's no way you can't like it. It's cinema.
You're 112% because that's exactly what this is made for.
It's cinema. That's all it is. It's good cinema.
It is moving cinema with interesting storylines, and guess what? It's actually 20 times better than Hollywood because Hollywood sucks a bag of dicks. This is much more entertaining. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, and Rob, that's exactly what I was saying before the break. Is they're incredible athletes. Like nobody's taken that away from them at all. They are phenomenal athletes.
And most of these cats work 300 to 320 days out of one calendar year, traveling on their own, hearing all these stories. I've been fortunate in my life. I've met Sabu. I've met Tommy Dreamer. I've met the Sandman. I've met ECW legends, kings, gods. And to hear the bullshit and everything, everywhere where you start, living in your car, just like anybody else who wants to, get a leg up in life. We all know what it's like. We work freaking hard. Sometimes it doesn't work out.
Stories, man. Attached to this.
Yeah, but guess what?
I want to ask the people who saying that it's not real. You ever been hit in the back with a steel chair before?
On a baseball bat.
Did it tickle or did it hurt?
Knocked my ass out.
Huh?
Catching a bat to the chin knocked me out. So
okay. So that's why I said, I personally would recommend we watch out with that word. Okay, documented, choreographed, yeah, but fake guys hitting their heads on the ground on cement, on concrete.
There ain't nothing fake about it.
That's a real thing happening to people. These guys.
No. The matches are scripted. I think when somebody says fake, the results can't ever be bet upon because they are scripted. They're pre-scripted.
They're talking about doing that though soon. I don't know how they're gonna do that. They're mentioning doing that right now.
I don't know how.
CM Punk kind of dropped a little bit of a pipe bomb a few weeks ago. I'm going to be caught that in the promo when he was in Chicago. He drops a promo bomb. He's in the ring and he said, "Oh wait, we're not on Netflix yet. Hey, April in the back, you know what I'm talking about? Just a joke. Wink, wink." And then he goes on to decimate Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins because he despises both of them. And we know what he did to Seth last night. And that was so great. That Scottish cocksucker, he wins a title for 1 minute. 1 minute only. And gets fucked. And Money in the Bank, Damian Priest rolls in. Thank you, fuck you. It was awesome. I thought that was cool as shit.
Watch that part. You didn't watch just watch that part.
So did they have? Was any of the matches yesterday or Saturday like ladder matches or cage matches or anything like that?
6-pack ladder match on Saturday night. 6 tag teams in one match.
The New Day.
Basically, guys that wouldn't get on the card if it wasn't for this match.
Yep.
They don't have a story. They're not they're not in a program. So they threw them all together. Basically, a conglomeration of guys that, like I said, they'd be at home. They wouldn't be there in Philly. So put them all together in a ladder match. Had them shoot for something. This was a shot. This is for the world title. That part was important, but the guys was in it. I'm like, wow, this is the best you can come up with. The Creed brothers weren't in there. They just threw in guys that we recognize, like the New Day and
there is not there's not a significant anyone standing to be a wonderful a champion tag. There hasn't been a tag team, and I thought they kind of stunk anyway. But I mean, it was creative because I remember the Hardy brothers, the Hardys, that was the last thing, and they kind of stunk anyway too. But Like I get it. They brought their whole ECA gimmick to WCW or to WWF, and like set the new standards, if they say. But it was just like, where is the old reliables that we counted on? The old tag teams. Like I said, let me go back and I'll kick a dead horse. The Road Warriors. And Paul Ellering was there last night. That was great.
Yeah, there was a point to that match, though.
Yeah.
The whole point was that they had already planned to split the titles up because they got too many tag teams on both shows, and some of them don't have nothing to fight for. So they had to split the title. They had them all unified, it was good at the time with the Usos, but it wasn't the best idea long term. So they had to break the titles up. That's why this whole match happened. That was the whole point of this, to put those two titles up and bring them back to their respective rosters.
Yeah, and then when they both went up,
Raw titles back on Raw, SmackDown titles back on SmackDown. That was the whole point of this. That's why they broke it up.
But they both went up to get them. It was just like, it was almost like okay, could we serve it up any easier for you? It wasn't the good old days of Triple H holding up one half of a ladder as Shawn climbed it. When DX back in the day, or Road Dogg and Billy. Oh God, I miss that era.
Hey, Vinny.
Yes.
We talked about this a few minutes ago, man. It wasn't that long ago. This is cinema, man.
I know.
You don't take 30 minutes to climb no ladder. Nobody take that long to climb a ladder. It's not necessary. You don't need 30 minutes to climb a ladder. It's all about the suspense. Got the fans keep hurry up, go. We know they can go. It's like just pull us into the emotion of the whole thing. You don't take that long to climb. The ladder match would be done in 5 minutes if it was just about normal folks climbing a ladder to get a belt. It'd be done in 5 minutes. But that wouldn't work for TV and for pay-per-view, man.
Not anymore, I guess. But I'm so.
Do they have cage matches still?
Yeah.
Yes, they're few and far between. It's been a while. I mean, we had the Elimination Chamber in Australia about a month ago, or a few weeks ago, and Drew McIntyre said he got screwed. Yeah, did you? Good, dickhead. A nice horrible accent. Stinks. Somebody called him the chosen one, and I loved it when Punk went, "Who? You stink." The fact that he cut his music off when he walked out on that promo was fucking phenomenal. I've never seen anyone do it. Even Jericho doesn't have the balls to pull that shit, and Punk did. That was awesome. Guys, I have to ask a question because I've never done this.
So how come CM Punk wasn't in this? Is he not in the WWE?
Injured.
Not medical
Or
clear
so
yet.
we
His tricep. He's recovering from a tricep injury that Drew McIntyre helped.
Got you.
Well, he got hurt.
How serious is it?
See, now we're talking about the guys I remember. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Coco Beware, Junkyard Dog. See, that was I was a big fan. My favorite heel was Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and I was a Roddy Piper fan and across the board. Like that's my era. That's what I was watching.
Roddy Piper fucking knocked out Jimmy Snuka with a fucking pineapple in 1986 on Piper's Pit.
That was
on
so
like a
racist.
Saturday afternoon. That was hysterical.
That was a coconut. That's why I was racist.
Oh, coconuts are now racist. Okay.
I'm talking about during that time, man. It was.
Well, yes, you're right.
Highly charged.
You're right. There was a lot of bullshit then, and you know what? Nobody needs that, so we all know that. We're all.
And my cousin's coming on. We're going to have the third person come on to this.
Oh boy.
Because he's and my cousin Bobby was he checked out. He reported on every match. He's big on TikTok with WWE. So he's jumping on now as well. So he'll get to give you guys a
right before we did this. I was going to ask you two both. I was just like, I stink at this because I've never done this, and like I can see both of your faces, and I look like I have Down syndrome because I keep looking down. Obviously,
I wouldn't be thinking like that, man.
Am I supposed to look up?
If you turned your phone sideways, all of a sudden we'd see you wouldn't be.
Is that better?
Look at that.
Well,
Look at that! All of a sudden,
dude. Wow.
That's okay.
Wow,
hey, listen,
Jesus.
I brought you on as a wrestling expert, not a guy who knows how to hold the phone.
Exactly.
You're
Not
right.
as a broadcast chief.
I stink so bad. I'm so honored and so grateful to be on.
You're killing it, bro. What are you talking about? I'm here to encourage you. I
Because
might not
you
even see you again.
listen,
You
you
do
are
great
a
things.
fan of wrestling. That's what this is about. You are a fan of
Well,
wrestling.
that's a view we don't want, brother. Don't do that.
No,
Stay
my
we don't want
exactly.
that.
no. My wife was trying to move my phone.
Okay.
What
Thank
am
you,
I
Mr.
doing?
Intoro. Please don't do that.
No,
This
Christ.
we were always done. Not
That's
when
a
we have
different kind of
going on.
broadcast.
There we go. Okay.
I can't be on shit like that now.
Like I said, I have fucking no idea what I'm doing, dude. Like I feel like an idiot.
It's okay. It's
This is good right
okay.
here, man. This is good right
Listen,
here. This is good right here. Stay here.
you're perfect in that respect.
Stay right here, man. NWO, no lower than NWO. No lower than that. Right.
All right, you don't need to see the pajamas. I get it. I have pants on. Trust me.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, pajamas and stuff.
Hey,
Yes.
and don't worry about feeling like an idiot. You're on with a couple of idiots, so it's fine.
Thank you so much. Oh God, baby voice of grace of God. Thank you. I have no idea who you are, but thank you.
I seen that
So,
comment
anyway.
coming. I knew that was going to happen at some point in time. It was bound to happen. There you go.
Yeah, I
the OnlyFans.
I think I figured it out then.
All right, perfect.
All right,
we
so what
got
else
it.
do
We got
wanna
it.
talk about now?
So no, we're still talking. Wait, hey, listen. This dictated Philadelphia. It's still dictating it tonight. Are you going tonight?
I'm on the fence because it's $350 for the floor, $180 for the wall in the back, and I was actually going to look out to you and see, elbow. Hey, what's up, James? You got any hookups?
Well, I'll be honest. I only have one ticket, and I have no idea. My expectation is I'm going to be all the way up top, but the Philly sports guy does get to go. I only have one ticket.
Damn it!
I don't get to get in and
One
have an extra ticket.
Darn you, you silly goose.
So, but hey, listen, I
want to go tonight because tonight this is actually better than both nights of Mania because this is when everything spills over, the shit hits the fan. All of a sudden, out of AEW, somebody defects or New Japan, or tonight maybe.
So
we hear a little theme
is there
song
any chance
by a band by Fozzy? Maybe Chris Jericho comes back.
Is there any chance? Here's my question for you. Is there any chance Cody Rhodes could lose the belt tonight?
There's no chance he's going to wrestle tonight.
Yeah,
that would be amazing, would it not? That would be amazing.
That would be hilarious.
There we go. And we got my cousin Bobby in the mix here. Bobby, also big Monster Wrestling fan.
How you doing, guy? How you doing, big guy?
How you doing?
Good, man. Yeah.
So listen, we were talking a little bit about some of the matches, and I know I watched your report on all of the matches for Saturday. I haven't seen it for Sunday yet. What was your thoughts about Sunday as a whole?
Sunday was incredible. I mean, it was an incredible show from start to finish. The crowd was electric. The matches, the main event was incredible. The opening match was incredible. I didn't see that coming at all. The 6-man tag was a great bunch of spots. Bubba Ray Dudley was awesome. That was great seeing him because we were in Philly, of course. What else? The triple threat match. Logan Paul's a hell of a wrestler. I can't believe I'm saying that, but he's really good at it.
Damn straight.
He's good at it, man.
That dude's really fucking good.
Yeah.
He's good at it. I want to hate on him because I don't like him. But he's good.
I would love to hate on him, and guess what? We all want to walk a mile on that dude. That dude has
he's head and shoulders above a lot of guys, man. That have been doing this for a long time. He's head and shoulders above them. He got it, man.
Yeah,
it's hard.
No question.
It doesn't happen very often. He got it. So I didn't know about it, but he got it, man.
312%.
But yeah, the main event made everyone emotional. Undertaker, John Cena, The Rock. I mean, the Usos doing that dive off the stage. I mean, it was insane.
Phenomenal
show from start to finish. It was just, I can't, it's hard to explain in regular words. It was just I'm so glad I went. I would have been really mad if I didn't go to this. It was
Hablo
phenomenal.
español? You can say in Spanish.
No, I don't. I can't speak Spanish.
Me neither. I just
So, are you going tonight, Bob?
No, I didn't get the tickets for tonight. I went to the convention though at the Pennsylvania Convention Center yesterday. That was one of the greatest things I've ever done. I got to meet CM Punk and Baron Corbin, so it was awesome. They had it all there. It was great.
So the Fanatics, I have to ask, I'm Vinny, by the way, how cool was that? Because I know a couple people went and they gave me like briefs. Not, obviously you're saying it was banging.
Oh yeah, it was. I wish, to be honest, it opened at 10 a.m. I didn't get there till about 11:30, and I'm so mad I didn't get there at 10 because there were so many more things I wish I had time to do, but the lines were so long for everything that I didn't get the chance to do everything, or else I wouldn't have made it to the show. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but like, so they had this thing where you could make your own entrance. So you pick a theme song, you pick any wrestler's theme song, and you come out like it's the actual entrance. You had like the whole curtain, the ramp,
No
everything.
shit.
It was
That's
awesome. I wanted to do it so bad, but the line was out the door. I mean, it was out the door. I didn't have time. And so then they had meet and greets for free. Like if you like DDP was there.
Was he doing yoga?
No, but he looks really good for his age. I'll tell you that. He doesn't look like he's old, but he is.
Well, he kind of gave up crank, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Came all the way out.
They had Hall of
From
Fame
the 80s.
merchandise, big superstore. I apologize, my son's in the back seat I'm parked.
Well,
Don't worry, I'm parked. I'm parked.
I'll refrain from using four-letter words that don't mean stop.
But
among men, Vinny.
But yeah, so it was.
I have my.
They had the meet and greets. The VIP section was extra. The meeting for CM Punk was extra, but it was worth every penny for me. One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, he's a super cool, down-to-earth cat.
Yeah, and I'll never forget. We only had a 3-second conversation, but I'll never forget it because it was awesome to me. It was
phenomenal.
awesome. It was awesome.
Well,
but
I'm so happy for you that you got to meet one of your idols, your legends, like me meeting a hockey player or an adult film star. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they had shows like they had like a big stage. I don't know how to describe it. Like a big stage where like people were like fans were asking questions to like Dominic Mysterio, Rhea Ripley, CM Punk was on there before he did the meet and greet, so that was cool. They had what else? They had all the titles. They had my favorite thing. They had a Bray Wyatt display of the Firefly Funhouse.
Really?
And I had to get a picture with that. I had to. I didn't care how long it took. That guy was another one of my all-time favorites. I'm so mad he passed away. I'm so mad.
Can you send it to your brother so he can send that to me? Because I want to see that really bad.
Yeah.
I love
or your cousin.
Cousin.
Okay, well, cousins, brothers, whatever. We're all the same. We're all humans. But I grew up loving Mike Rotundo as dad. Like,
right.
USA Express. Like, I literally have the friggin' WWF album made by Rick Derringer, and then the follow-up Pile Driver with the Hulkster on the front. Ooh, boy, is that a
wow!
Talk about a double entendre.
A collector's
Pile
item.
Driver and Hulk Hogan. Well, it's a collector's item, and it's something else.
You know what's crazy? It's crazy you mentioned Hogan because he was there too. He was doing autographs and pictures, and he didn't. But the crazy thing is, he didn't have as long of a line as CM Punk did, which is absolutely
that shocked you because.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know why? Not for nothing, but we just did have spring training, and a lot of Philadelphia people just saw Hulk Hogan. So I would almost go to say that had a little bit to do with it, just a little bit.
I would say so. Maybe that's a great album. I like it. That picture was cool.
That's
but,
the first one, and then
there it
here
is.
we go.
Oh, here we
Pile
go.
driver. What does
Oh,
that say
brother.
to most of us?
He doesn't even know how to do one of those.
That is hilarious.
No. But no, he was.
Let's see the back.
He can't even do a power driver.
Jimmy Hart,
Clothesline,
honky tonk.
leg drop. That's it.
Oh,
Honky tonk.
Slick. Look at that. Slick.
Is that Mean Gene Okerlund?
Yeah, it's Mean Gene.
That's the
Hacksaw Jim
model,
Duggan.
Rick
That's
Martel, the model.
Coco Beware.
Coco. Wow. This is good stuff, bro. Demolition.
Tito Santana again, the first Intercontinental champion.
How did we forget Demolition, man? Them boys. Wow.
That's Vince McMahon at the bottom.
There's Demolition.
Yeah, no, we don't talk about him no more.
No.
Yeah, I was going to mention it. Somebody else.
He's person non grata.
Yeah.
So the original album, you got
Brutus.
Mr. Fuji is angry. He does not like this album. I suck at internet stuff, so obviously you guys know that.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, awesome. So listen, going tonight, because I am going tonight. My first question was, and nobody was able to really answer it, is there a chance that Cody Rhodes could lose the title tonight?
No.
I did answer it.
Say,
he ain't going to wrestle
absolutely
tonight.
not.
Yeah, a snowball's chance in hell.
He ain't going to wrestle tonight.
There's no way
Come
he
out in a
loses
suit.
tonight. No shot.
None.
Absolutely not.
That wouldn't add to a different part of the story. Like that would be the next part of the story. Like he
But
wins
does
it,
Roman-
and he's the shortest reigning WWE champion of all time. Like that would be amazing for a second.
Yeah,
But
I think him and Seth are going to get a break, man. They wrestled for 2 nights in a row. They're going to get a break. They shouldn't be wrestling tonight.
Now,
X-Champ, I thought the X-Champ is allowed to ask for a rematch, though. And
yeah, but Roman. Roman
needs a break too, man. He's due.
Roman said he's taking a break after WrestleMania. That's why the main event was emotional that Cody won, but at the very same time, it had a lot of people knew ahead of time that Cody was going to win, or had an inkling that he was going to win, because Roman said that he was taking some time off and wasn't going to wrestle as much because of his leukemia treatment.
Yes.
To be fair, he doesn't wrestle much now, like 4 times a year, so that doesn't mean anything exactly. But the leukemia part was like they mentioned it so many times. I'm like, I thought he was in remission, but now they mentioned it so many times yesterday. I said he must have had a little step back or something.
He's got a little flare up. So
yeah, it's taking a toll on his body. He said.
Yeah, that's not a flare up. That's a detrimental disease to your body. So, hey, guess what? I'm gonna have to step away for a second, and if you don't like it, well, whatever. But going forward,
champion 4 years straight. We'll be good. Take a break, brother. It's going to be all right.
But
4 years straight, man. 4 years.
So cool last night at the end when Cody won, and all the people who came out to pick him up, grip him up, hold him on their shoulders. Sammy, KO, like the guys in the locker room who really appreciate him, and they came up together, and it was father. They know the legacy, they know everything. That was really cool last night. Like after the lights went out, like because we're sitting there, right there, and I tried to go steal a $5,000 chair, and I got not fucking fucked over not once but twice but 3 times, and I tried my hardest, and I'm pretty good at stealing things, and damn it, I got screwed last night.
You were on the floor?
Yes, we were in 138R right on the floor, and it was phenomenal. And the night before we were in 121R, and we were on both sides of the ramp, and holy smoking Christ, it was everything about last night, this whole weekend, everything. I can't say it enough. Unbelievable event.
Wait, so you didn't have the same ticket, the same seats for 2 nights in a row?
No. My best friend, his niece is in promotions, and she put us in 121R, row 7, first night, and then we were on the flip side last night, 138R.
Oh, okay. Because I had the same seat for 2 nights in a row. I was all the way up in 230. I couldn't afford those lower seats.
We didn't pay it. Thank God, it was gifted to us, and we're the most lucky, fortunate people in
And he didn't
the
take care. He
world.
didn't take care of the guy who actually helps him out getting into the Penguins games.
Wow. Yeah, just like when I looked down Monday night when I was in the club suite and you were sitting by the ice, and I looked down and gave you the finger and said, "What are you doing?" But
Well,
and you know,
because that's where I'm supposed to be.
and Jamie, you know how grateful Corinne and I am to you. So
I know.
you know how much I
I'm
love
busted
you.
balls. I get the bust balls. So
It's
that
your
being
spot,
said,
thought
so-
you
so
were
I'm
gonna
going to
be.
go tonight.
I thought you were going to be at
Say again?
WrestleMania. I thought you told me you were going to be there.
I was
I
expecting
thought
to
you were going
go, and
too.
then
I
things
thought you were
fell
going.
through. Things fell through. So I did not go through. Instead, I won the singles competition of the eating contest. So
Let's not
Nice.
get the shit.
I
What were you
I
eating?
did win. Pigs in a blanket, a burger, and a hoagie.
Oh, nice, delicious.
So I won. I came in second. I lost to a pair of twins, female twins. So
Oh well,
I
that's not
got
fair.
Really?
yeah. Well,
You won at the end of the night.
I went down to a pair of twins.
We know you went
2
down.
souls versus
So,
1 doesn't sound very fair. But
Wait, but did you watch the
No, it
show?
didn't. Say again.
Did you watch WrestleMania at all?
we didn't.
I did not. That's
why
why.
you
That's
brought
why I
me
had you
on,
guys
and
come
I'm an
on.
idiot.
the running
Oh, you didn't
story is
watch it
these
at
2
all.
twins
Oh,
over
okay.
WrestleMania. That's the running story, which sounds good in context.
That's why.
He picked 2
He brought me
twins
on
over
just
WrestleMania.
he brought me on just on for shits and giggles. So I'm good.
Don't mention
Well,
the picture.
that's why I want to know what I'm going into
Yeah.
tonight. So when I go in there tonight and I make it down on the floor and I start yelling at some of these guys that I like yell at Cody Rhodes that he cheated or something like that.
Don't do that, bro.
That he'll come over
No,
body
don't do that.
Don't
Don't
do
do
that,
that. Don't
No.
Don't do that.
don't do that.
I know it's in you, but keep it in there. Don't do that. Don't
No,
let that thing out.
is this your first wrestling show in a very long time, Jamie?
Clearly.
In a very long
Yes.
time.
Yes,
Since
it's
Hulk
been
Hogan.
a long time.
Since 1983.
The last time you saw a wrestling show, you had a sling-light on or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I said
Well, no, the last time I was front row. But like I said, it was one of the big matches was Big John Studd.
Oh
You know,
my
and going up
God.
against 2 guys. He went up against 2 guys.
Oh my God. Yo.
Bad long ago. That's
So
right,
that's
Rob.
been the last wrestling match I went to.
You-
I mean,
you-
I went
he's
to some
been dead
for
ECW
30
matches.
years.
Yo, you do realize Big John Studd was in Marlboro Man and Harley Davidson with Mickey Rourke, that movie? Harley Davidson and the
Yes.
Marlboro Man?
Yes.
Yes, Big John Studd was one of their guys from the bar, like their friend, like part of their crew.
That dude, that's insane, Jamie. He's been dead for like 30 years.
I stink again.
Shows you where I'm at with things. So tonight I'm excited. I'm going to get down there.
I'm excited
Maybe you'll
for
see me
you.
on TV.
Please show up.
Probably will not. You probably.
Please show up.
But I'm going to do my. Who
I'm
should I
going
go
off
after?
of
Who am I
event.
going to be a heel to?
Huh?
Who are you going to be a heel to?
Name somebody who
Oh,
I should
boy.
heel to.
Go after Seth, because Seth's going to come
Heel
out tonight. Seth.
The way you said that made me laugh. I'm sorry.
Go after Gunther.
That is funny.
Go after Gunther. Let's see how that works out. That'd be good TV for us. Go after Gunther.
Gunter?
Oh,
Gunter?
yeah.
Gunter it is.
That'd be great. That'd be great for us. Watch it.
Well, listen,
Oh,
guys,
man.
I have to cut this off. We only have a minute left here, so I'm
Oh.
able to rebroadcast this at a different time. But I thank you guys for
Everybody,
coming on.
thank you.
And listen, and we should set this up again and actually have you guys come on. Maybe like once, maybe once every 2 weeks, come on and talk about wrestling, because you guys actually have a lot to say. And I know that, like I said, 100 million people can't go wrong.
Exactly.
So
Right.
Pleasure meeting everybody. Love you guys.
Pleasure meeting y'all.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Have a good one.
All right.
everybody.
Good to see you, brother.
Thank you very much for everybody who tuned in today. And we will be back tomorrow, and I'll get to tell you all about what happened at Raw tonight. And who knows, maybe I'll have a black eye. So, everybody, thank you very much. And we'll be talking to you guys soon. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
All right. Love you all.
All right.
ya.
See you.